The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello and welcome back to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I'm your host, Timothy Kaitano, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a good show for you. Ladies and gentlemen, on this show, we aim to motivate and inspire, and today's guest is going to do just that. He has an amazing success story. 7 years in the industry. He has flipped over 48 commercial properties and has made, I would say, very impactful investments in the industry. His journey and his story is definitely one that might help you make an impact in your career or make a move that will change your life and the next generation's life as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know he's a hard worker because he's right at the construction site right now. He's not stopping. He's working still. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome today's guest, Joao Macavilca. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Timothy. Happy to be here. Happy to help and talk and hopefully inspire somebody else.
Oh man, it's a pleasure having you, man. You have an amazing journey. You have done so much and in my opinion, so little time. I mean, for you, 7 years might be like, man, Tim, that's a long time. But what you've been able to build in 7 years is definitely impressive. I'm always curious because people are always like, man, why you always start off the show like this? I'm curious to know your journey. How did you get to where you are today?
So my journey, I mean, it's pretty much like everyone else's. I had a standard 9 to 5 job. I went to school and college hoping to find some big career. And I'm not saying anything bad about school. It just wasn't for me. Like
Mm,
I went to school, I got a degree. I've never really used it. I'm still paying for the next few years. But even then, just jumping from job to job, trying to get a better paying job, moving up in the corporate ladder to get a higher position, higher money.
mm,
And then just realize one day, no matter how many raises I get at this job or how much, positions I move up, I'm still never going to have that freedom of time I want. I'm
mm,
never going to be able to go on nice vacations or do things that are, you know, awesome at a standard 9 to 5 job. Unless I'm really high up there, it's just not
mm,
possible. So I wanted to change. I wanted to be rich, if you would, to have freedom, to have time, and be able to buy myself nice things and also, treat my family. So just the math didn't make sense. Every year inventory prices go up, food goes up, things go up. If you get a standard raise from your job, it's not really going to cover that. You'll be okay, but never enough to be happy or free. So I needed to make a change there. And, my accountant gave me the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She told me to read that. I read it. First time didn't make much sense to me. Little things, but not much. Second time is where it hit. And I had maybe 10 to 15,000 of my own money saved up. And it was scary because that was everything I had, savings, whatever I did working weekends after hours, saving up what I could. So I just decided either I'm gonna do this and try, or I'm just not going to do it and keep living what people call the safe way,
mm,
guaranteed hours and whatnot. But I wasn't betting on person A or B. I was betting on myself. So I realized I need to just go all in. I need to just do this. If I fail, I'm not going to lay down and die. I'm going to save up again. I'm going to try again, learn. But it's all up to me. So
mm.
I decided I need to take this chance on myself, make this win, and then learn from it, worst case. And I did. I learned from it. I could have made a lot more in hindsight. A lot of my first few projects could have went a lot different, a lot faster, smoother. But that's the cost of learning. So, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. And you mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad. First time you read it, it really didn't move you to a point of you saying, "Hey, I'm going to take action on this." But second time around, that's when you made the decision like, "Hey, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to put everything on this over here. What was it about it the second time around that really made you take action?
It was just reading it more in depth and just stopping and highlighting key certain factors of it. There's one chapter, I'm sure everyone that's read it knows, where
Mm,
they just wanted to have their own like comic book or book area. They started buying them or going to the comic store, getting the old ones thrown out, renting out like a library, getting so many kids on there, and just thinking outside the box, like, hey, this is something that we can do and make money off of and grow exponentially. I mean, everyone listening to this or other podcasts, they're probably really good at their jobs today. They're amazing
mm,
at what they do, but they're limited by what they can do in that 9 to 5, or they work for a corporation. If they were to do something on their own and take their skill sets to profession and the drive they have to do their own thing, it'll
mhm.
be hard, yeah, but so is working for somebody else.
Yeah.
But their potential is almost unlimited, depending on how good they do, how great they do. I mean, it's up to them.
Mm. And you decided, you know what, real estate is where I'm gonna be. What drew you to real estate?
So the real estate was my job has a 401k and they gave me all that stocks and everything. And I noticed it would go up little by little, like every
Mm,
few months, it would go up a few cents. Then they have all these meme stocks where,
mm,
it would go up like crazy. Then someone buys and it drops down. It's so risky. But real estate is something I can go physically and touch. I can drive down an hour, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever. And the property I bought is right there.
mm,
And one thing I started reading after the Rich Dad Poor Dad, I started looking more into properties of the over the years. So far, every property I've seen that I have, knock on wood, goes up in value every year.
mm,
So if I bought a property for $100,000 in one year, next year it's worth 110, the following year 125, the following year 140. So it's always going up.
yeah.
It's something physical. People always need somewhere to live. As long as you actually update it and make sure it's, to market rate, you make some money off it as well. So it was just something I can physically see, not like a stock where I could be sleeping and then something happens overnight and boom, it's wake up, it's all gone.
Mm,
Or, crypto. Like these are all things that do make money. I don't have that much knowledge in that, and I don't like where it can change instantly.
oh yeah.
I like real estate because it's sitting there. People have to live somewhere and, demand is there. So I just
Always
chose real
gonna be.
estate.
I mean, that's the beauty of real estate, right? Like, um, technology evolves, some things come and go,
Right.
but people are always gonna need a place to stay, right? Even if you're
Yep.
using the best technology, you want a place to actually use it. Now, you mentioned, um, working with properties that have always increased in value. And I think that's where a lot of people have a lot of question marks in finding a property that is a good return on their investment, a property that will actually appreciate as time goes on. How in your 7 years of experience, how have you been able to distinguish if this is a right investment?
So pretty much what I do is I look for those areas where there's jobs coming in there. So
Hmm.
like right now I'm in North Carolina, but I have properties in South Carolina. There's new thing, BMW is building a plant. I think it's in Woodruff, South Carolina. So as soon as that news hits the newspapers, whatever, you want to look in that area where jobs are coming and there are jobs in demand. School systems as well, good schools. People always want to live there within being a certain area of that. Um, just things like that. I mean, if you drive through a nice neighborhood, just look for the ugliest house on the street, look for those blue tarps on the roof. They may not have the funds to fix that roof, or they may not want to deal with a realtor. They may just want to sell. So, and there's a lot of wholesalers out there. I use them all the time. I mean, I don't like knocking on doors. I don't like making phone calls. So I'll pay someone to go ahead and find me that property. If it makes sense for me and what my buy box is,
Hmm.
I'll happily pay them what they need to, get me that property. I just bought one in Gaffney. I want to say 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Gaffney's 25 minutes from me. And this guy's in Iowa.
Mm,
And he found it. He's like, "You want this one?" I was like, "Yeah, let me check it out." And I don't care what he made off it because at the end of the day, the deal him and I made, we were both still making money.
mhm,
So I was like, "Yeah, get me some more in this area." And you know, he didn't put a dollar out of his own pocket. He just after work time looked for him, discussions on the weekend. I think he walked away with like 10K,
oh wow.
and I happily paid it.
Yeah, I like that, man. And I'm curious, man. For those watching this on YouTube, I know you see the branding and you wondering, hey, what is he working on? Right? You looking at the screen right now, you seeing start to finish construction. I'm curious, how did this come about?
So it came about, I'm first generation in the United States. My parents both came in here. My dad was very, what's the word, frugal. He
Mm,
didn't like spending money at all.
mm,
So I remember when we had a house in New Jersey, because I don't have the Southern accent. So we had a house in Jersey. He went to Home Depot and bought that book, One, Two, Three, How To.
yeah.
He's like, I'm not paying someone to change the toilet. I'm not paying someone to, you're gonna read this, you're gonna learn, you know English better than I do. You're gonna do all this. And I was like, I wasn't good with my hands. I wasn't good with any of this stuff. I was like, I can do it, but it's not going to look nice. And granted, some floors, some LVP, they weren't the best,
Yeah.
but he didn't want to pay someone to do it. So he made me do it. And then as time progressed, because I'm old right now, I'm 37, 38. I'm old.
Mm,
Anyway, it was just nowadays, like in the last few years, YouTube is on there. Online tutorials are on there. Everyone has videos how to do these things. So it's so much easier nowadays to learn
mm,
than it was back then where I had a book and I had to, research and read. But yeah, it was my dad kind of forcing me to do it myself in New Jersey. Then when I bought my first property up here in the Carolinas, I just worked after hours on the weekends doing the work myself and then going to Home Depot or Lowe's 20 times a day because I forgot something or I ran into this and that and kept learning and learning. And then eventually it was like, listen, do I want to keep hiring help or outside people to do the work for me?
mm,
Or can I do the work or teach some people? Because I had a crew once of like 15 people and they come and go. Sometimes, the season is good, sometimes it's not. But I took those people that want to learn, that came with almost nothing, taught them everything I know,
mm,
and they still work for me today. And, they just in-house construction, we've got it, we got things. There are certain things that we don't do. I don't have an HVAC guy on my payroll. I don't have an electric guy on my payroll,
mm,
but I can call them and they run under my GC license and do the work for me and they know what's expected of them. So it just helped build. So Rich Dad Poor Dad was a great book, but then it came to a Who Not How, another
mm,
great book that kind of showed me you can't do it all yourself. You got to put people in the right spot that can help you build and grow. Like this whole thing you see with all my name, all that, I didn't do
mm.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. But my personal assistant, she did it. She knocked that out within a few hours and said, "Here you go. This is your background now going forward." So it was awesome. I mean, you put the right person in the right spot and they're going to succeed. Not that you
Definitely.
can't do it. It's just they're better at it, and why not let them do it?
Yeah, and you do
So,
what you're good at, right?
exactly.
And yeah. And I like that because I think one thing you touched on is the fact that right now we have access to so much information. Like you can learn how to do anything online. You can read
Yeah,
a book, and if you want to see how it's done, you can go online. When you mentioned the fact that, your dad bought you a book and like you're gonna do this yourself. And now looking at where you are, you were like, hey, I could go on YouTube and see how these things are done, and that's how I perfected some skills. It kind of reminds me of me because I remember one time I crashed my dad's car. Not that bad. Like I kind of hit a wall and it got like a dent on it. And I'm
right.
like, man, this man is gonna kill me if he sees how this car looks right now. And I went on YouTube. I was like, how to remove dent from car. I got the exact model of it on YouTube. I was jumping around, and I think like I fixed it. It wasn't that good, but he was like, "Hey, at least I don't have to pay as much as I I had to.
But
Good job. I mean, I'm glad that you actually found a way to solve a problem, right?" And that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. So much information is just there waiting for them to consume. You talking about the book that really impacted you. These are books that are still available to this day,
yeah,
right? There's information that's still available to this day. All you have to do is just click on it and just educate yourself, right? And when you get to a point where you now find your business growing, you can find the right people to fit in certain spaces that you know you wouldn't excel. So I think to anyone listening to this, man, you have to take that step. Make sure that you educate yourself on things, right? School is not where it's all at, right? I mean, for some people it is, but sometimes information is right there. That we in the information age right now, where you can find everything online. So make sure you make the best of your time, right? TikTok videos with cats are cute, but not all the time, man. Not all the time. Now, I mean, I also want to find out from you, what have you learned from flipping well over 48 commercial properties? What's the biggest lesson that you've learned during the time of you doing that?
So, biggest thing I've learned over the last, I would say, year and a half or so is I've always been kind of on my own where I want to do things by myself, do things alone, and buy the property by myself. I had by myself maybe 14, 18 properties and teaming up with people. So networking, meeting other people, and coming partnerships will help you go a lot farther, a lot faster. I'm at 91 today, 92, something like that,
Wow.
because of my partners I met. I mean, I met them at real estate events. I went to my local real estate event, was just talking to people, meeting people, and I had to actually talk in one of them and present construction. I didn't know it was such a big thing, but it is for a lot of investors. They know the numbers, they know the market, they know wholesale, but they don't know construction. So I was asked to speak at one, and I did. And one of my partners today, Nate Farmer, I guess he was in the crowd listening. And afterwards, he came up and talked to me. And I don't remember him talking to me, but a few days later, he came back to talk to me, and we just started connecting and everything. He introduced me to his other partner, Cole. And from there, we just partnered up. We bought a 12 unit, we bought a 54 unit.
Mhm.
We're looking at more deals now. So it just comes with networking.
Wow, that's amazing. And now to anyone watching this, my lights just blow up. So you're gonna have to watch the star of the show right now, right? It's not me, okay? So networking, I think that's one thing that a lot of people that get into real estate, whether it's real estate agents or people that are in the same field that you are in, they don't understand how much this can impact your business, right? Is it safe to say if it wasn't for those moves that you made, connecting with people, that you'd partner with in your industry, you wouldn't be where you are today?
100%. I mean, my goal was to keep buying properties myself, which I can buy maybe two or three every quarter or so. It would have took me based on my, plan anywhere from 8 to 10 years to get my first apartment building.
Yeah.
As soon as I met these guys, within 3, 4 months, we had one already closing. And maybe 4 or 5 months after that, we got another one in contract, 54 units. So we've grown quickly, fast, because everyone has a different role. Everyone's in the right spot. So we've kind of all have our different departments where, we have underwriting, we have capital raising, we have construction, we have property management, and we all just work together to make sure this all gets done. So now it's not a headache of, holy crap, this happened. What do we do? Who goes where? And it's just been so much easier overall.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you could go back to the time when you first got into real estate, if you could do something different, what would you do different?
If I could do something different, I would probably go to more events sooner,
Yeah.
force myself to be uncomfortable and talk to people, meet people. I mean, regardless of what's going on, like there's someone out there that has gone through what you're going to go through or what you may go through, and they're going to tell you how to avoid it. They're going to tell you what they've learned. Maybe you have some lenders that are giving you crazy rates, or you don't know how to, get past the finish line. They've gone through it as well. They'll tell you, or they may know someone that could help you out and say, hey, call this person, call that person. And the community is just so open there for everyone to help out. I've met so many other investors way bigger than me, and not one of them has ever said, I don't have time to talk to you, or, don't talk to me. They would sit
Mhm.
down, grab food or a beer, and just talk for hours and kind of mentor you and walk you through what to do and how to avoid their mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you could give advice to someone, that was once where you were, and I think it's a lot of people right now. that are stuck in the 9 to 5 that feel like they've hit the ceiling, right? Like, hey, I don't know how better I can get at this. I don't know how many times I can get promoted at this. I feel like this is not enough for me to give the life my family deserves, right? I want something that can help me give them that life. And I also want freedom for myself. And some of them are watching this episode and thinking real estate is the one. If you could give advice to them right now, what would it be?
Take the risk on yourself. I mean, if you really want it bad enough, you're going to find a way to make it work. I've got so many friends that would say the biggest reason is I don't have any money. Just like the wholesaler, all he's doing is finding phone numbers of houses, calling, hey, do you want to sell your property? Yes or no. If they do want to sell it, they'll see what it could be worth, other houses that sold in that area. And there's so many free YouTube courses on wholesaling or how to do it. Someone like me, I'm not going to call people, so I would gladly pay someone 1,000, 5,000. This last one was 10,000.
Mhm,
So you give me that property and say, hey, Joao, you're looking for a property in this state or this county, and you want to pay no more than this much, and you want it to be worth around here. I've got one for you.
mhm,
And I'm just going to walk it, make sure there's nothing wrong with it, and then put it under contract. And then we just got to wait till for me to close. And if for some reason I don't close on it or I stall, there's a non-refundable deposit you get anyway. So it just depends. I mean, there's always ways to do it. I mean, I even talked to my wholesaler. I was like, hey, keep bringing me more properties. Eventually, maybe if you don't want to make as much money, I'll give you a ownership percentage. So you own a piece of that property, and if I rent it, you'll make something monthly, or if I sell it, you'll get a percentage of it. So you just decide what you want to do. I've got no issue, but the only thing is, I want you to give me all your deals first. Like
mhm.
I know you've got 80 people you send them out to, but what can I do to make it where I'm the first one you go to? And just there's always a way to do it. You just got to find out.
Wow, wow, I like that. I like that. I'm sure someone listening to this right now, like, oh man, I wish I could work with him right now. This sounds like a good deal. Now, man, you have achieved so much, in just 7 years, and I'm curious, where to from here? What are goals? Where is, SDF Capital going to be in the next coming years?
So my goals have changed so much because of networking and partners and meeting people. It's always been, from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20, from 40 to 80. And the next goal, honestly, is to, be able to purchase 2 to 3 apartment buildings a year.
Mm,
I've got a vision board that I look at every day, which is like vacation. So I went with my father and family. We walked Machu Picchu for 5 days. We went on to Europe for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. We just got back from Thailand. So
mm,
where do I want to be? I I just want to be able to give my family more freedom,
mm,
experience the world. I mean, we only got one life to live, so I want to see everything possible and just be happy. I mean, I can't tell you how disheartening it is to say in a 9 to 5 job, hey, I want to go on vacation July 10th for a week for my family's wedding or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, Steve has that off, so can you do another day?
yeah.
Like I'm asking permission to take off days I've earned, and it can still be said no. So
Mm,
it's like I want to be able to, what's today? Today's Wednesday. You know what? This Friday, I'm just gonna go to the Bahamas for the weekend
yeah.
because I can, because I want to, and I've built a life where I can do that. I don't have to ask permission. I can just go knock it out and live that life. And who doesn't want that, you know?
I think to anyone listening to this right now, they're definitely going to be calling you after this. They can see your socials here, Joel. So they're going to be like,
Yes.
hey, I want the life you just talked about. How do I get there?
That's
They're
fine. I
going
mean, I've had so many friends that are like, how do we learn? How do we learn? I was like, listen, if you really want to, if they're local, come with me on a job site. Like, let's go walk a property. Let's see the whole process. Let's measure what you need to measure. If you just want to be a fly in the wall, hop on some meetings and just listen. If you don't want to ask a question, you don't have to, but
to.
you can sit there and kind of hear how things are going, ask the question afterwards, see how you run the deal, do some analyzing. There's always ways to do it. It's just, do you really want to? Like, I had one friend that's like, I don't want to be in your way. I don't want to do anything. You don't have to pay me. How can I help and be more involved? All right, well, I can't go to this property for 4 days. If you can go there, send me some pictures and videos, that's good.
Yeah.
Little things here and there. There's always a way to get in. I mean, we all want that way in, and we all can find a way. We just got to ask.
Yeah.
What's that saying goes? A closed mouth doesn't get fed. Just
Yes.
reach out. It's the worst that can happen.
Yeah. So you heard that, ladies and gentlemen. And like all you have to do is just reach out. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Yep.
Um, before we close off the show, man, um, you all definitely blessed us with an amazing episode. And just before this, he told me that, hey, look, man, I'm not just here to inspire. I just want to help. Even if it's just one person, um, make a move that will change their lives forever. I definitely want to do that. And well, I'm not going to be the one to tell you, but he is going to tell you, man, what are we doing for our listeners today?
So the book that changed everything for me, as we said earlier, was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And we know this where some people may read it, some may not. Just like me, it may take a few times, which is fine. So what
Mhm.
I want to do is for the first 5 people to comment on this video, this post, whatever it may be, or just send us a DM or whatnot. I want to be able to send them a copy of that book. And
Oh,
I'm hoping it'll help change their life, and then eventually they'll help change someone else's. But if not, we're trying. We're doing what we can on our side to help those promote and get out there, and we just hope for the best.
oh my God. Thank you so much, man. So you heard
Yeah.
that, ladies and gentlemen. The first five people, if I were you right now, right, I wouldn't be waiting for this episode to end. The moment he said that, you should be typing like, yes, I want this. All right. So you heard that. All you have to do, all right, I'm going to add a little twist to it as well. All right. Like this episode, comment. And we'll make sure the first five people to do that would definitely get a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? It made an impact, not just in Joao's life. I think there's so many people that will tell you that that book has changed their lives. Now it's your turn, right? And I don't want you to stop there, right? After getting the book, right, go and follow him on his socials, right? They are on the screen right now if you're watching this. And we'll also have them in the description. So if you just want a link that takes you straight to his website, maybe you want to work with him, maybe you want to partner with him, go straight to his website. And trust me, you will definitely come back and thank us for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful guests. I think this has been an amazing episode. I hope that we can get you back on the show soon, man, because I think there's so much more that we can touch on, and I'm inspired. I'm inspired by your journey and where you are right now, and the heart that you have, because well, you saw that this book made an impact in your life, and now you want to pay it forward. For that, I really do thank you, really do appreciate you doing that for others out there. Also, thank you for taking other people under your wing as well and guiding them and helping them as well. I think this episode is definitely going to help people just bet on themselves. Take that
Awesome.
step, like you said, what's the worst that could happen? All right. And if it and I like what you said before we started. You said if you can do it, anyone can. And I want that to be something that people remember from this episode. I want that to be something that people remember when they see you, like, hey, if he can do it, then I can do it. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest on the show today, Joel.
Thanks for the invite, man. I appreciate it. I loved it.
All right, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you got this far, you know what you have to do. Hit the like button, share this with your friends, your social circle, because they will love you forever. You heard it, the first five people. I'm just imagining right now that we already have five people, that you are not waiting another minute for this to pass you by. All right, the first five people to comment down on this will definitely get their own copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing episode with your host, Timothy Kaitano. I know you can't see me, but you don't always have to see me. I'm not the star today, but I'll tell you who is the star today. He is a man that has changed his life, his family's life, and continues to inspire others. Ladies and gentlemen, I was joined by an amazing guest, Joao Macavilca. Well, till we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, take care and peace.